Austin put it on the press conference. Y'all ready?
Yep.
All right. Coach, when you're ready, open stage.
Great football game this past weekend. Going against a FBS opponent in Louisiana Monroe. I thought our football team came out and they played hard. You know, I told them and I talked to them about it all week of going in the fourth quarter, just giving yourself an opportunity to win the game, and we was right there with an opportunity to win. Did have the big turnover earlier, you know, a personal foul, face mask. You know, I think we had a total of 8 penalties. We got to get that cleaned up going into this week. But overall, very pleased with our football team. You know, we got to get ready for Lane. We got to put that one behind us, get ready for a Lane team, a Division II team that's going to come in here, you know, very fired up. Good friend of mine is the head coach, Byron Brown. Know him well. Played against him when he was at Grambling here, when I was here at Jackson State. So we're looking forward to it, you know, getting back home. But, you know, a tough loss. You know, we licked our wounds, took it for what it's worth, and, you know, try to make our corrections getting ready for this week.
Coach, what was your biggest takeaway from that game? After looking at the film, was it like, hey, if we clean up this area, we'll be all right?
Yeah.
What was your biggest takeaway?
Just biggest takeaway, you know, the thing that was kind of tough was the penalties, you know, because they came at crucial times. The drop, you know, Fabo had a drop right there that turned into a turnover right there as well. But we got a talented team, no doubt about it. You know, we got some guys out there that can make some plays on the perimeter. Very pleased with what I saw in the freshman, Travis Terrell. Ahmad Miller ran the ball well. Defensively, some guys stepped up in that second half to play good football too as well. So, you know, just cleaning up the penalties and just finding ways not to beat yourself as a football team.
Seemed like your athletes were on the outside almost better than the FBS team.
Yeah.
Did you get that sense too, that they were able to do some things on the outside, like, okay, well, we're doing that against them?
Yeah, definitely. That's what we felt like skill-wise we would match up pretty good. You know, we as an offense, starting on the offensive side of the football, we took a total of 10 shots into that game that we wanted to get called. And I think we got 7 of those shots called. But hats off to Monroe, they came out and just made us throw the ball underneath, played a quarter shell all night against us. And we did get the one big play up to Jonas. He made a play, but definitely we matched up well skill-wise. And their defense and offensive line was very talented, physical group though as well though. But saw some bright spots there, some things that I know we're going to be excited about when we get in conference.
What are some of those bright spots that you just mentioned, some of the bright spots, some of the positives you took away from the first game?
Yeah, I was just talking about Travis Terrell. He played a good game. We call him Day Bright, the corner. You know, number 13, very physical football player, showed he can play at that level as well. Jonas Fortillion, you know, he's a guy we got to find ways to get the football to. You know, a big physical guy, about 6'5", 220 pounds, that can really play the game. Ahmad, you know, Ahmad was a very physical runner in that game. I think we had a botch snap on one of play, and he picks it up, you know, and circles the defense, played with great speed. So it was a trio of guys. Phil Webb, you know, the transfer from last year, you know, he stepped up and played a physical game. He come across the line of scrimmage and, you know, knocked the crap out of the running back one time, you know, made Booty pull the football. So it was a trio of guys, quite a few guys that stepped up and, you know, showed bright spots that, you know, that we'll be fine once we get in the conference.
How much stock do you put into results and score, yardage, all that kind of stuff these first 2 weeks when they're kind of different levels of competition than you're going to play for the rest of the year?
You're just trying to figure out who are those guys that's going to be able to beat you can hang your hat on in conference, basically. You know, that's what is important to me. You want to win those games, and we had an opportunity to win that game. No different this week. We want to go out and dominate this week, but you're still getting ready for the following week as well. You know, when Southern comes to town, when you're playing those conference games. So, you know, that's the value of them. You get to evaluate your roster against other competition, especially a FBS opponent like Monroe. You see how, you know, physicality is a big thing. You know, how fast are we versus a team like that, and we'll carry that same mindset into this week against Lane.
Coach, you talked about having an opportunity to win the game, which you guys did, but I want to go back to that drive coming out of halftime that pretty much kind of could have potentially changed the trajectory of the team. When you look at that drive, like what happened in that drive that I guess that didn't necessarily happen in the other drives throughout? We got going as an offense with some tempo. You know, once you're successful on early downs, you're able to play with a little tempo. We wanted to play with a little more tempo throughout the football game, but it was a game that they was running the football well.
you know, and I didn't want to put the defense back out there in a lot of situations. So I was telling our staff and our offense, we got to be good on the early downs and being able to convert on third downs. But that drive there, you know, the guys were pumped up. We came out. I think Landy made a big play on the wheel route. The tight end made a big play right there, and some additional big plays. Kobe ended it with a touchdown run on a zone read. But we just played with a little tempo right there. That was the difference in that drive.
You might not have had like the stats you might have wanted that game, but you went to Terrell a lot,
Mhm.
and you know you spoke a lot of about him in the offseason. You know, can you talk about what you saw from him, you know, in his first game there?
A maturity. You know, anytime you got a freshman and you can put that much weight on him as a football player at the running back position, at his size, you know, he's only about 165 pounds, you know, that's soaking wet. But, you know, he showed that he has the maturity. He brought a physicality to the game as well. You know, he came out there and played hard, played physical like we asked him to. He's a very explosive player. And, you know, that's what we were talking about earlier. That's a guy that you're able to go out and gauge and see, you know, against an FBS opponent. You know, if you can take this, you know, type of team speed that they had and the physicality, you'll be fine once we get in the conference. So we're going to continue to get him better. You know, we'll recruit some guys as well, but we're going to continue to go with him and see how much info he can take and, you know, what he brings to the table on the field.
What's the health level of that backfield right now?
Just still the same two are down right now. We're waiting on JD and Irv to get back right now. So they should be cleared here in the next week or so. So, you know, that's why guys like Ahmad had to step up. We got to get Nate Blunt going and, you know, Travis Terrell, as well as some other guys. Zeke, too, is another guy that played for us last year. He did a heck of a job on special teams, though. You know, some of those guys did play special teams for us.
Do you think they'll be ready by this Saturday or probably next?
Like I told those two, I want them to be ready when they know they're ready to go. You know, I know what they bring to the table once they touch the turf. So, you know, what matters to me is getting them ready for conference play. You know, our training staff knows that. Everybody in the building knows that. Just get those guys ready for conference play. You know, they're upright, you know, out there moving around, playing good football right now. But we're just taking our time with them, you know, and getting them ready for the games that matter.
Coach, you mentioned your connection with Lane. What's that like having a matchup when you know the head coach very well? Do you already have a sense of what you'll be facing Saturday?
Yeah, I do. Like I said, we played together, played against each other when I was here. We always talk trash when we see each other. He gave me a hard time about swapping film, you know, so they're gonna be competitive. This is a football team that beat a good Tennessee State team about 2 years ago, you know, and they're gonna be competitive. It means something to him because he played us here in the vet, you know, so I know he's gonna have those guys fired up, you know, and ready to play when they get in here. But, you know, good friendship, good football coach, and we're looking forward to it.
Talk about the excitement for the first home game this year.
That's without being said. You know, without being said, everywhere I've been stop, get gas, people are stopping me, coming up to me, talking about they looking forward to the game this weekend. But it's without being said. It's good for the guys to get back home. You know, a lot went on in that last game. We was on the road we left here at 1:30. We get 2:30. We're on the road. We get a 2:30 call that the game pushed back 2 hours. We sitting in the auditorium before the game. It was a lot went on. But when you're at the comfort at your own crib, you know, everything is, you know, kind of calm. You can get your football team ready to play. We'll go to the hotel on Friday and, you know, get our minds locked in. But the football team is looking forward to it. You know, we've had some great practices in the vet this year in training camp, so they're excited about going out there and playing football this weekend.
And that's different, too, playing home this early because y'all been road
Oh,
warriors.
yeah.
What's it like, just, you know, just the preparation? No, hey, we at home.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome. That suitcase that I was living out of last year with the first 4 games, I walked by and looked at it and said, I won't need you. You know what I'm saying? So it's exciting. It's exciting to get back here in front of the vet. You know, last game there was a loss against a good football team, so we got to make that right too, you know, and go out here and start this thing right at home. I told our team, you know, we got to play good at home. You know, we didn't play our best football to me last year when we were in the vet, and that's something we've been really emphasizing to this football team. We want to play better at home this year.
Anybody else? Hi, Coach. Appreciate you.
Hey, thank y'all.
Coach,
Appreciate it.
on this weekend.
Appreciate y'all.
I'm blessed. All right. All right.
Everybody ready? Ask away.
Well, Coach, for you, what was your, you know, your biggest takeaway from that first game? How much you and the rest of the staff learned about this team, you know, early on?
I thought the first level, I thought the D-line they strike blockers from play one to the last play. I thought the second and third level, we didn't bring our feet on tackles that led to some explosive run that led to a lot of yards on the ground. So we was able to get back out there today and do a lot of tackling stuff on what we call Bloody Tuesday. So it was a highly physical day. So we think we addressed them issues.
And it looked like ULM's run game was kind of really hard. How did you kind of either adjust that after the game, or what did you kind of see from that and help you, come in a week two?
I think the most important part was the tackling. They had 41 carries. 3 carries had like 90 yards. And when you take that away with 41 carries, you're feeling good about the situation. So I think it go back to just the fundamentals of tackling, bringing our feet on the second and third level.
Last week we talked about the youth on the defensive side of the ball. How do you feel like they did in their first action?
Wasn't bad. Like I said, the D-line, man, they played lights out. When I cut that film, I was very proud of how they strike blockers from play one to the last play of the game. It was the second and third level that we were concerned about. And then hats off to their running back. They ran hard. That's the style of offense they try to bring to the table every week. And so they did that.
Statistically, Lane out of the SIAC hasn't had many wins over the last couple of seasons. But, when you look at that team, what challenges do they present to you guys?
Man, they put up points. I did a presentation this morning to the team, and we talked about the last 3 FCS opponents they played. They put up a total of 83 points. So it's a game they're going to get up for, and we got to, put our foot on their neck. And that started today. And they got to continue throughout the week to be prepared for this team. But they're going to come in excited. It's their game one.
How much stock do you put into the results, the stats for these first 2 weeks when they're kind of different level opponents that you're going to be facing the rest of the year?
Stacks is everything. That's who you are. What shows up is who you are, and that's what I believe in. And we gave up a lot of yards last week on the ground. And like I said, the whole deal is coming together and see why it happened. And it was 3 explosive plays that equaled 90 yards. So I'm like, hey, that's 38 carries, probably 100 yards. Like, that's a damn good night, but we got to address the tackling part on the back end.
I know you mentioned the tackling aspect. Were there some positives that you saw, especially against your only FBS team this season?
Oh yeah, it was a bloody day. It was physical on both sides of the football. We didn't run for contact. We used to nail at time, but we also the hammer at time. And I thought just the physical brand of football we play, I thought we stepped up to the challenge.
Are you kind of taking that first half and saying, hey, this is kind of what you want to build off on?
Somewhat. I think they came out to be who we thought they was going to be. That was just to run the football. And I thought the key was in the right spot, so we executed well. It came down to tackling.
How different do you think the defense will be this week, not only given the things that you guys have learned, the tackling and just the execution part, but then also just being at home in the vet? Do you think that's going to bring them different?
Oh, the vet different. The vibe different. The energy different. It's nothing like playing in front of your own people in the backyard. So I think they're excited, and it started today.
Everybody good?
Awesome.